Hi everyone, I'm Allie with the Potomac Bead Company, and I'm going to show you a little bit how to use beadable chain. Beadable chain can be a little bit tricky. It's a very fine chain, and you can see the crystals going through here. You can get almost every bead through here except pearls. Pearls a lot of times have really small holes, and they're hard to get on. Glass pearls usually are no problem. The difficult thing with the chain is how do you end it? So how do you work with it basically? This is actually a set of jewelry that I've done for a mother of the bride. And what I've done with this is kind of stationed my beads along my chain, and then I use some knot covers at the ends, and I'll show you how to do this. For the earrings, I've actually used some of the crimpable ends for attaching the ear threaders to a piece of chain to have the chain dangle for the earrings. So the chain here is really fine, and like I said, it can fit pretty much any bead on it. Here's just an 8/0 seed bead just to show you how much playroom is on it. When you get to size 11, that's where you're going to say, okay, it may be a little small, you don't see it as much, but it does fit on. So there's a size 8 and a size 11/0 seed bead, just to give you an idea how easy it is to get most beads on this chain. What's difficult is the chain will bend and snap, so you can't really fold it back like regular chain to go through a crimp bead. So to do the ends, the way that I did on the necklace, which is what I'll show you first, what I've done is I've taken a crimp bead and just a regular 2x2 crimp tube, and I'm gonna put on this knot cover. This is gonna be the end of my necklace, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna slip the beadable chain through the knot cover to bring it to the other side. On the other side, the end of the chain, what I'm going to do is stick my little crimp tube on. And then what I'm going to do is use it just as a flat crimp. So I'm going to take a flat needle nose pliers, and I'm going to go right over top of that crimp tube, as close as I can to the end because I don't want any waste. And I'm just going to apply some pressure and flatten out that crimp tube. So it went from being a rounded tube to now a square. What I do then is I take my knot cover, push it up against that crimp tube, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to close up that knot cover then. You can do this with crimping pliers to close the knot cover. Some people find that easier. You can do it with flat nose pliers. If it's a soft material, I usually just go through with my hands, get it closed a little bit, and then it makes it easier for me to go in and really close it with pliers. Then what I can do is attach whatever clasp I want to this end, and I can do that, say this is the clasp that I wanted. I can just attach that there and then turn over this loop. That's exactly how you do basically the end of silk cording too, but you tie a knot to go into that knot cover. So that kind of does a little bit of a problem solving issue. When you're going along the chain, if you do want beads to float on the chain, you'll take a crimp bead or a crimp tube and slide on whatever bead you want to kind of give you an idea. And then what you're going to do is slide another crimp tube on the other side. On either side of the bead then, what you'll do is just take your flat nose pliers, just like we did at the end, and you will crimp down. For this bracelet, or for this necklace, I didn't want to see a lot of the extra silver. So what I did with this one was actually I only crimped at the bottom. So when the beads are floating down and the necklace is on, you won't see as much of the crimp tube, because 1x2 millimeter or 1x1 crimps will not fit on the beadable chain. So if you want just a little bit of a look of silver, only do the crimps closest to the pendant, closest to the middle of the necklace, and the inside crimps, and then the beads will kind of float down as you're wearing it. And all I do again to crimp that down is just take my flat needle nose pliers, go right over top of it, and kind of squash it down. The other way that I can do the end, if I'm not crazy about having the knot cover, and usually the knot cover is the most affordable way to do this, the other thing that I can do is that other end that I put on here just to mimic my clasp is actually another form of putting the end on the beadable chain. So the beadable chain will just slide right in there inside that little groove that's created. And then this tube actually works as a crimp tube. So what I'm going to do is take my flat nose pliers. I'm going to go make sure my chain's in there the whole way. Sometimes you can see it poking out the top. I don't like to see it poking out the top. I want it to be right where I can almost see it, but not quite. So I usually push it forward and then kind of back it up right where I can't see it. You're going to take your flat nose pliers then, and you're just going to give a nice hard smush on that. And what that's going to do is flatten that out as well. So it works kind of like the crimp tube, but it's all in one. Then you can use a jump ring or anything to attach a clasp to that side. But then it's going to hold it in there in that little squared out shape. And when you're done, you can really play around with it, whether or not you want to have, here's another option. These are just a flat tube rather than the crimping tube, and they just have a little bit longer of a tube to them. You can try to glue inside with the E6000. You have to use a lot of glue, and I'm not crazy about gluing the metal to the metal, especially on an earring like this where you have a lot of tension. So I did take that little bit end of my tube there and just kind of pinched it down with my pliers to do the earrings. So that's a couple ways to end and to work with your beadable chain, using just the tube end that you can crimp or glue, and then also using, when you're talking about the necklace, using the knot covers on that as well. And then the last thing would be using one of these little ends that the middle works as a crimp bead. So hopefully you like the beadable chain. It gives a great option for a little bit more of an elegant look to it than just the illusion necklace, because you have more silver or gold floating through it. And thanks for watching. Check us out on Facebook, and also watch the rest of our YouTube videos. Follow us on Instagram, and check out your local Potomac Bead Company.